What I have learned is that success, by any definition, is really a product of conditioning, aligning thoughts, words, and actions with a clear, measurable vision. Because your life lived is a declaration of who you are. So we really have a choice, right? We either live unconsciously by default, or we live consciously to create the life that you want, which means essentially, who do you want to be? And one of the challenges in that is really being hyper vigilant in terms of our thoughts and our words and how we are defining success. Because if you truly want to be successful in any capacity, you have to become 100% responsible, which means that if your life is lacking excitement or joy or possibility, you have to own the fact that your life is the effect that you have caused. And though we can certainly list a litany of reasons and challenges for why we are stuck, or why things are the way that they are, or why the world has been unfair, which all of us like to do from time to time, the bottom line is that it is only us that is actually standing in the way. So one of the things that I notice that people really do not pay close attention to, there's a couple of things. One is being very clear about your intention. And I can give you an example. How many of you showed up here tonight without a clear intention of what you wanted to walk away with? Now, there's no crime in that, right? There's no crime in showing up where you're going to meet other very nice people, um, perhaps make some new friends or hear what other people are doing. But the question becomes, are you really limiting your capacity for success by not having a clear intention before you walk into the room? Which means if I'm going to go to this event tonight, what is it that I want to walk away with to be absolutely certain that my time was well utilized? And how am I measuring my success in that capacity? What are the challenges and obstacles that I see before I even get there? Am I too shy? Am I reticent to speak about myself? What are the things that generally get in the way of me being successful in the capacity that I've defined? And how will I overcome them? So that seems like a lot of questions asked before you walk out the door, but this is the level of vigilance that is required to start conditioning yourself for greater success. If you were to run a marathon, right, you probably wouldn't just walk out the door and start running. You could, but you may not make it to the finish line. So it's really important that we do the work up front to condition ourselves, to prepare ourselves for the success that we envision. So I have people come to me from all different corners in terms of where they are in their lives. Some people know that their life is unfulfilling and it's lacking something, but they're not quite clear what that is. So for those people, that's the first part of the work, right? Is defining what it is that you really, really want. Because one of the greatest lies that we tell ourselves is, I don't know. But the truth is that you do know, you're just not conscious of it. And sometimes it requires a little bit of help, a little archaeological dig to dig underneath the surface to bring it forth, because it's in there. The other type of client are the people who they know what it is that they want, but they can't quite figure out how to get there. So I am really helping people bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be. So that's really the baseline of what my work is. What I would love to do, rather than just talking at you, because I'm sure we've had enough of that, is I would love to take any questions that you have about things that might be um, keeping you stuck, or things that you're unclear about. If there's anything like that, that I would be glad to provide my perspective.
Hands, anyone?
What are some ways that you can manage the distractions?
Okay, the question, did you hear that question, Mark? She said, what are
No.
the ways, okay, what are the ways you can manage the distraction? Yeah, so that you can be hyper vigilant. What are the ways to manage the distractions? Some ways.
Well, I think like anything else, it becomes a discipline. One of the things that that I do basically is set people up in a program where there are certain things that are required that they do each day, so that it becomes a routine. And once you get things in motion and you get accustomed to the routine, you're less likely to be distracted. But I would need to know specifically what those distractions are in order to help alleviate them.
So, anybody else?
So social, I guess. Social, or sometimes even during work, there's like conversations that maybe don't need to be had, but then you're kind of trying to accommodate people and not be rude or things like that.
Can you hear that, Mark?
I can.
Okay.
It's really about the discipline. It's about building the muscle like anything else, and realizing you have to want what you want more than anything that is distracting you, which sometimes requires you to become more anchored. And a lot of times the reason that people become easily distracted is because they are not clear about what it is that they want. And one of the things that is very important that I think most of us tend to avoid or not do is define success for today. Even if we have the big picture vision of what it is that we're working toward, that's out there. What about today? So one of the pieces of discipline that I do is I have people define at the very beginning of the day. There's a series of questions that I have people answer. And that is, who am I today? Because there are no two more powerful words than I am, because whatever follows I am will find you. And so what that is the adjective that best describes who you want to be. Because one of the things that we tend to ignore in the Western world is who we are being. And it's very important because who you are being has everything to do with how you are succeeding, because you are the one through which success must be achieved. Then the second question is, what is my intention for today? How will I define my success in that capacity? These are all things that you would write down. What are the challenges and obstacles that I see? And how will I overcome them? If you start with just that basis and get yourself into the habit, it begins to create a different mindset. Then at the end of the day, there are follow-up questions, right? On a scale from 1 to 10, how did I do? What could I have done to have been even more effective? What are 5 things for which I am grateful for from this day specifically? What will I do to be even more effective tomorrow so that it carries through? So what you're doing is you're beginning to condition yourself toward that greater vision. So it's like working out, only it's really mental. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah, that actually does help. So, who am I today? I mean, who am
Because, for
I?
example, if we can go back, if one of the challenges and obstacles that you listed are distractions, okay, you know that this is often a distraction for you. So then the question is, okay, I know that this is a potential issue for me, a trigger. So how, before the day even starts, how am I going to overcome it? Even that level of consciousness is going to start alerting you when it starts happening, right? when Susie shows up and wants to talk about what's going on in the other part of the office or what have you, then the click goes off in your head. Oh, wait. And even if it doesn't, right? At the end of the day, you're going to be reflecting and saying, oh, you know what? If I wouldn't have been distracted, I probably would have reached more of my goals. I would have fulfilled my intention. So because I didn't do that today, what am I going to do tomorrow to remind myself so that I don't repeat the same ineffective behavior? It really is a loop. It really is about building a muscle. And just like going to the gym, you're not necessarily going to be able to lift the heaviest weight the first time, right? You have to build up to the process. It's part of the conditioning.
Oh, I like that, Mark, the built up the condition. Because a lot of times we feel like we're a failure if we don't achieve the instructions immediately. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
So I thank you for that analogy.
And a large part of the work that I do with people is one of the things that most of us are often unconscious about is we are telling a story about ourselves in every interaction. We're not always conscious of what the story is, but it's a story that has been constructed over time by virtue of what we have received from our parents, from our surroundings, our perceptions, our fears, our thoughts. And this story that we are living has everything to do with our level of success, because we will rarely ever exceed the framework of that story. So in order to change the story, number one, you have to be aware that you have one. Number two, you have to be aware that you are the author of the story and not just a character in someone else's. And then determine how you are going to rewrite that story so that you are the hero instead of the victim. And one of the ways to make the quickest transition in your life, and it's one of the most challenging, are you ready for this, is to watch your words, because we are speaking into existence the lack and limitation of our story. So one of the things I always tell people, and this is a really tricky one, is watch your use of these words: don't, not, and no. Because whenever you are using those words, what you are doing is you are speaking about what you do not want. So you're basically calling forth into your existence the things that you do not want, because that is where you are focusing. That is where you are directing your energy. And guess what? That's what you're going to get more of. So when you catch yourself using the words don't, not, and no, stop and state what you do want instead. This is a very big challenge, because capitalism is based on appealing to what we need in order to get what we want. So we are incessantly fed with messages of, if you had this, then your life would be better. If you had that, then you would be fulfilled. So we are constantly being fed messages of, you are not enough, you don't have enough, you need more, blah, blah, blah. So it's really about beginning to refocus. And when you think about the energy difference, it's very powerful. Think, for example, with children, right? There's a very big difference between don't run in the hall, walk in the hall. Very different message. It has a very different feeling, and it will usually receive a very different response. So don't, not, and no. If you just took nothing else away from this conversation than that and became vigilant, your life will change, and it will change more quickly than you could ever imagine. It's not easy, though.
Wow. Okay. So I need to refocus frame the words that I'm using to what it is that I want, and not
Right.
focus on what I don't want.
And this is something to be conscious of in every capacity of your life, because one of the things that I have noticed, and I'm sure all of you have noticed too, if you are not this person, you know this person. And that is the people that go on social media, who it seems like every post that they have is about the latest tragic experience, the thing that has gone wrong, what is not working, their biggest failure, how they're feeling bad, how this person mistreated them, all of those things. And listen, those are very real things, and it's not to take away from that. However, what we are doing by that is just inviting more of the same, because we are functioning on a very low frequency. And the reason why we do that is because it is much easier to get people to support us in times of trouble, right? Because it's something that we can all relate to. So you get a lot more responses when you're making those kind of posts than when you're making a post about some big win or victory. You know, so it's about being conscious of that, is that is a reflection of the story that we are continuing to tell. So if you continue to tell the story where you are the victim, don't be surprised when you continue to be the victim. At some point, you have to decide that you want to be the hero in your own story, and you have to want it enough to change your behavior.
Okay. The Never-Ending Story. I remember that movie, The Never-Ending Story, because the person was telling the story they could keep the story going on and on and on. The story never ended because they're telling the story, and whatever was going to happen, it was going to happen because they wrote the story.
Yeah, it's so interesting that he talks about the social media piece, because
Talk loud.
I said that's so interesting that he talks about the social media piece, because if you really look at social media, and just for an instance, somebody says, I'm in the hospital or I'm sick, then you see like a whole lot of sympathy and a whole lot of that.
Praying hands.
And then if you see somebody said something literally about something positive, sometimes you don't even see anybody comment, because we're so wired to do that. So
it's an easy way to connect with other people, and it's also something to become aware of, that it is in many respects an addiction, because sometimes it's the only way that we receive love and compassion from people, you know, and a lot of that is from childhood, right? Sometimes you got the most attention from mom when you were sick. So it's really about reconditioning yourself and choosing who it is that you want to be. Here's the question that I ask every person who calls me, because I get a lot more calls inquiring about the work than I get clients. And this is the question, and that is the pain of where you are greater than the discomfort of what it is going to take to move you out of it? Because that is the question that you are answering every day, whether you are aware of it or not. Is the pain of where you are greater than the discomfort of what it's going to take to move you out of it? Because the fact of the matter is, most people do not make effective changes until they are absolutely at the bottom, whatever they consider the bottom to be, when they just can't take it anymore. And we don't have to wait for that.
So you mean we don't have to wait for the doctor to call us and tell us we got whatever. We can do something beforehand.
Right. So there are, I can't think of 3 or 4. There are 3 things that I tell people to do that will change your life. If you do them, without fail on a daily basis. One, of course, is, we've heard it so many times from so many people, is the gratitude journal. And at the end of each day, the way that I approach it is that you list 5 things for which you are grateful specific to that day. So you don't do, I'm grateful for my family. Nope. But you can do, I'm so grateful that Susie unloaded the dishwasher. I am love that Francine bought me lunch. I am so grateful for those mozzarella sticks that I had for dinner. I always laugh because when I look at mine, you think I have some sort of eating disorder because there's so much food in there. But every day without failing, here's the reason why that's important. Because we are conditioned, societally speaking, to always be looking, and this again goes back to the root of capitalism, right? To always be looking at what is not, what is missing, what is not there. And that's problematic because that means that you may be ignoring opportunities and levels of success when they're right at your door because you're looking over there when it's right here. So it's about reconditioning yourself to be looking at what is instead of what is not. The second is meditation. And I know that some people struggle with this, but I think one of the keys with meditation is don't approach it from trying to empty your mind. If you can do that, we have greater concerns, right? It's really just about not attaching yourself to the thoughts that you have. The way that often works best for people is to use a guided meditation, of which there are many that are free. You can find them on YouTube. You can certainly find them on Apple. So it's just a matter of finding the one that works for you. For some, just music works. But it's really a matter of just getting quiet. And it doesn't have to be for an extended amount of time. I usually, if you can start with 5 minutes, that's great. I would make 10 minutes the goal. But it's a big, big life changer. And the third thing is the word thing that I mentioned earlier. If you do those 3 things, your life is going to change quicker than you ever thought possible. And it's going to affect it's going to affect the way that you do the things that you do, which is everything.
So number 3 was watch your words.
Watch your words.
Okay. Okay, this was really good. 3 things: gratitude journal, 5 things that I am specific for that day, not just random, and then meditation. So I hear you saying just get quiet for 5 to 10 minutes, just put on music or whatever, something to get you quiet, and then watch your words.
Right. And with the gratitude journal also, just a little semantic that is important is don't just make a list. Don't just put one, so-and-so did this. No, always, I am so grateful that, I'm so thankful that, I love that, I appreciate that. These words infuse that energy into what you are saying.
Okay.
And one of the things over time that's kind of cool to do with this is something that I have had people do over time when you've done these gratitude exercises for a while, is get a vase or a box of some sort and cut little strips of paper and write down the things that you're grateful for and put them in this vase or this box. And when you're having moments where you're feeling disconnected or you're feeling down, draw from the box, draw from the vase to remind you of the blessings that you have in your life. Sometimes it's very little things that can change the course of your day and the course of your life. Too often, I think, in the United States, we are focused on the doing instead of the being. Not that the doing isn't important, we know it is, but the being is equally, and in some cases, I would suggest more important.
Wow. Lakeisha?
Hi, Mark, Lakeisha.
Hello. Hi, Lakeisha.
Question is, do you believe, or not do you believe, but what would you say about one that has had quote unquote success, or maybe they've reached a particular goal? So would you say, are you growing? You know, is a person growing when they get to a place where they're trying to go? You're either growing or you're going backwards. You can't stay there. You have to either grow, you know, or you will go backwards, because you can't stay in one place. What are your feelings about that? Do you understand my question?
I think so. I guess the question that I would ask is, what do you want? What do you really want? Because I have yet to meet someone who has, let me put it this way. If you have fulfilled your vision is not big enough.
Right.
And usually there's a fear of some sort that's underlying that is keeping people from stepping into that expansion, because they feel like they don't deserve it. They feel like they can never have it. They feel like it's unrealistic. Fill in the blank. And another thing that I know I've spoken with Francine about in the past is, one of the most surprising things that I have found in working, I've been doing this work since 1998, solely this work. And one of the things that I was very surprised by is that, speak about fear of failure, I don't think it exists. I don't believe it exists. You know what it is? Fear of success. Fear of success is very real. And I have seen it in almost every person that I've worked with when I start digging underneath the surface, when we get under the hood. Because what people will do is they will get to the ninth inning, right? They'll get very close to achieving all of those things that they wanted. And then suddenly they'll sabotage themselves. They'll do something that will set them back. And they'll do this over and over again in different capacities. Why is that? And I think it's because there's always going to be a part of us that thinks, what if I get that which I believe I've always wanted and it isn't? What if I get it and I find out that it's not as fulfilling as I thought it would be? It's not really what I wanted. Then my whole life is a lie. So in order to avoid that, we will unconsciously hold ourselves back because we're afraid. And it goes sort of to what you were saying in, you know, what if I reach that level of success, then what? Then what's my life about?
Wow.
Isn't that success is defined by everybody in their own unique sense and what they are working at?
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest parts of my work, is defining success in a measurable capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when people come to me who say that they know what they want, most of the time it's the story that they're telling themselves rather than the truth. I'll give you an example that I'd like to use because it's easy to understand. I had a client who came to me, and one of the objectives that she listed was to find the best master's program. That was her goal. Well, guess what? That's not her goal. That's not her goal. There's nothing wrong with that goal, but that's not the real goal. The goal is what she believes that master's degree is going to get her. That's the goal. Now, it's not to say that that master's program is not a viable and very real option. It is, and it's definitely one that should be explored. But if you make that the goal instead of what the real end goal is, you're eliminating and blinding yourself to many other possible opportunities and roads to get there.
Wow.
And for those of you out there, because this is quite common as well, when you ask people what they want, sometimes the art of the possible is so great, right? The menu is too large. It's like the Cheesecake Factory. That they don't know what to say. So the common response will be, I don't know. This is the greatest lie that we tell ourselves. Because guess what? You always know. You may not know you know, but you know. And the way to alleviate that is, or the way to prove that, is if I ask you what you do not want, you can tell me. And most people can tell me quite at length all the things that they don't want. Well, if you know what you don't want, then at some level, you know what you do. So one of the first things I do with people when they are unclear is just get out a piece of paper, and on the left side of that paper, write down all the things that you do not want, that you cannot tolerate, that you don't want any longer. Just write them down. And once you've done that, go back line item by line item and say, if I don't want this, what do I want? So it really becomes, in many respects, playing the opposite. And once you do that, you put a large enough crack in the door to let the light come in. And then you start becoming, your awareness starts growing because you've opened the door.
Wow. Mark. We get Mark every, he tunes in on our broadcast every day. Always has words of wisdom. And Dr. Tachi is in the house. And Terry, I can't see if she's still on, but hey, Doc.
I think,
Okay.
I think one of the biggest things that he talks about, which is, it's your words. Me, I've always talk about make sure we know what we're saying to ourselves with our words.
Right.
And it's such a powerful tool. And to hear it's one of his top 3, it's really,
Right.
And I do want to address something in that regard, which could be a whole discussion in and of itself, and that is affirmations. Many people use affirmations, and most, admittedly, would have to confess that they don't work. And let me tell you why. If your bank account is empty, you can affirm, I am prosperous. I am wealthy until the cows come home. Right? But what happens when you do that? When you do that, your mind, your that voice in your head is saying, are you out of your mind? Have you looked at your bank statement? You don't have any money. So by doing that inner conflict is actually empowering the fact that you are broke. So what you are actually doing is you are affirming your brokenness by doing that. Because you cannot fight your mind that way. You can't fight your mind with something that is not true, with something that is not a reality. So here's the trick. What you can do, however, is you can state what is true and say, I'm choosing to believe that. Because your subconscious will not fight a belief, because you can believe whatever you want. So you can say, my bank account is empty, and I'm choosing to believe that financial opportunities, money, blah, 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 is on the way. You can do. And that will begin to empower you.
What that says, Mark, is we also have to control our thoughts or know what we're thinking in our subconscious mind, which is why it's important to do that inner work you were talking about earlier, the meditation. Right. And those
it's managed. You'll never control it.
Yes.
You can manage it. And it really is a discipline. I mean, it's a discipline, like anything else. But the greatest part of that is when you finally realize that you really are the only thing standing in your way, and that you actually do have the power to shift things.
Wow.
And sometimes that's the value of people that do the kind of work that I do, in my opinion, because I'm not here pretending to be the sage on the mountain with all the answers. That's ridiculous. What I am, though, is a provocateur. I ask the questions that invite you to go deeper because you have the answers. It's a matter of bringing them out. So I have the skills, the methodologies, and the techniques to do that. So that's the value. It's not about going to someone who is going to have the answers for me. No, it's about being able to exercise from you what the answers are, because you do know it's in there.
Wow. All right. I think we got some things that we can study on here, and just to do a tweak. It's a new season. It's back to school for a lot of people, and sometimes we need to go back to school in our business. Just take a couple of steps and stop, like we talked about this morning. Stop, drop, and roll, but stop and find out what it is that's happening. Do I want what's happening? And just making some adjustments in our work, or do I still want to work with these kind of customers, or do I still want to do something else? You stop and make course corrections. We just don't keep plodding along just like la la la, and we're just doing stuff. We make adjustments. And Mark, thank you for helping us out to seeing that, and we look forward to how can people find you? I know it's
you can find me at Ask Mark Ward, either askmarkward.com or Ask Mark Ward, basically anywhere.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Threads.
Everywhere. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. And he's coming in all the way from Chicago, Illinois. Right. All right. And so the next person we have up is the Dean of Success himself, Mr. Dean Hankey. Hey, Dean.
Howdy, everybody. So delighted and excited to be here. A quick survey by a show of hands. How many people are here right now? Just by a show of hands. Okay, a couple of people. All right. How many people couldn't make it today? Be fair. Be honest. It's all right. It's okay. Yeah, I see it. All right. How many people think it's really, really, really dumb to raise your hand by a show of hands? Right? That's an oxymoron. I know it's how it works. All right. How many people are going to raise your hand no matter what stupid question I ask? My people, I appreciate you. So delighted and excited to be here today, and we're going to have some fun. Is that okay? Is there someplace you want me to start, or are we just going to get going, or how would you like to make this magic happen?
You can tell them a little bit about who you are, what you do, or you can jump right in. This is your party.
Sure. I am Dean Hankey, the Dean of Success, charismatic marketing magician, and people pro, and I'm here to serve. Honestly, our charismatic marketing approach is a little bit, well, let's do it this way. Let's start by playing a little game. I have a pad of paper, nothing big, and you should be able to see this. And what I'm going to do is I've written down 3 letters. That's all, just 3, like ABC or XYZ. And here's what I want you all to do. Get ready now. Is I want you to, when I show you these 3 letters, I want you to say what those 3 letters are, whether they're A, B, C, or X, Y, Z. Say them out loud with vigor and with commitment, and say these 3 letters, and we'll get started. Are you ready? Say yes.
Yes.
All right, come on, we get some energy now. All right, here you go. 3 letters.
I like you.
I like you too. Oh, look, we just got started, and we already like each other. Very cool. So, hey, what an interesting, that's the thing, is that honestly, the way we serve is the way we get results in our life and in our business. So I'm going to take a second here, and I'm going to sort of share my screen, and that's easy to do. Oh, got cut off a little bit. So here's what I want to do is I want to share with you the super simple VIP 3-step process for literally getting anything you want on command and demand. Anybody interested in knowing how to get anything you want on command and demand? Say yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. And here's the way you do it. Super simple VIP process. Now, I'm not sure why it's getting cut off, but you can still see a little bit of the screen, right? Here's what I'm going to do. I'll rearrange my screen a little bit. Oh, look at that. Ta-da.
Yay.
There you go. All right. So super simple 3-step VIP. Now, VIP, I'll be honest with you, stands for something. It means something. And if you apply this VIP principles in your life, with your family, in your business, with the people next to you in the cubicle next to you, with the people at your table here today, it doesn't matter. The super simple 3-step process will, in fact, help you get what it is you want and be able to create value for other people all at the same time. So it's a win-win kind of strategy. Let me share it with you right now. If you want to make more money, it is what we call the VIP keys to success. Here's what we know. Keys stands for KEYS, keep educating yourself. I'll say it again, keep educating yourself. School is always in for the lifetime learner. Fair enough? Yeah. So here's the good news. If we apply this VIP, and it stands for something, so let me share with you what it is. VIP stands for first, foremost, always, and forever. First, add value in every human interaction. So here's the thing. We have a saying in our organization, our training, in our workshops, everything we do. Never leave the sight of a human interaction without first creating value. In the Zulu language, there is a word that says when you see somebody, I see you. The word is sawubona, and that means I see you. I see all of you. I value you. It's their hello for all intent and purpose. So sawubona, the first way to value people is to simply value them first and then add value. So let me ask you this question. If all you did from here on out, the first, foremost, and for everything you always did is first find ways to create and add value. Never leave the sight of a human interaction without creating value. If that's all you did in your business as your primary objective, would people want to know you more or less? Will people want to potentially do business with you more or less? So first, foremost, always and forever, first add value. If I help you get exactly what you want, need, desire, and deserve, are you more or less likely to want to potentially work with me? If I help you, are you more or less likely willing or wanting to help me back? If you want to prove beyond an impervious shadow of a doubt that you can actually serve people, that you can help people, if you want to prove you can do that, the best way to prove you can help somebody is by, helping them, right? Serving them. If I help you achieve, let's say, because this is a business organization, entrepreneurs, let's say if I help you achieve, just for the sake of conversation, over the next 3 months, over and above what you're already generating in your business, just because it's easy to understand, if I help you achieve an additional $300,000 or $100,000 in your business, at the end of that 3 months, are you more or less likely to potentially want to continue or work with me further? Right? Yeah, of course, because I've proven beyond an impervious shadow of a doubt that I can what? Add value to your life. So now that value doesn't have to be monetary. It could be emotional, spiritual, relational, intellectual, and of course, as business leaders, financial. So you must be making more deposits. Here's the thing. One of two things is absolutely true in every human interaction, and that is this. You either make a deposit or you make a withdrawal. That's it. End of story. You make a deposit or you make a withdrawal. wittingly or unwittingly. You make a deposit or you make a withdrawal. The goal, nothing more complicated than this. The goal is simply to make more deposits than withdrawals with your business associates, with your spouse, with your children, with the people, again, in the cubicle next to you, with the people walking down the street, whatever. Make more deposits. If you simply make more deposits than withdrawals, if you value people and then add value for and to and through people, you will then achieve that result. Now, the value has to do something in this VIP three-step formula. It must generate impact for others. In other words, there has to be a measurable result. If I compliment you on, the attire you're in, or if I say, hey, I really love the way that you open up your heart and you make a difference in people's lives, or whatever it happens to be. And your eyes roll back and you smile, you might get a little flush or what. There's an impact. There's a genuine, discernible, measurable, quantifiable result or outcome. If the value you deliver doesn't deliver an impact or a result, I guess the question is it really valuable? Is it really value added? Like it's something that I'm just valuable for who I am, and we are all valuable. That said, we want to make sure that we share that value and value others first, foremost, that generates a very specific, measurable impact for others. And the last, on purpose and by design, the last in the VIP is if you add value that generates impact for others, you will then generate profit. And by that, I mean emotional, spiritual, relational, intellectual, and of course, as business leaders, financial. If I help you get what you want by creating value for you that generates a specific measurable impact, and then there's a profit deposit as a result, is it a good formula? And I think it is. So if all you do ever from now on and forevermore is find ways to add value that generate impact so that everybody profits, your business will grow or will it decline? What would you say? Grow or decline?
Grow.
Yeah, of course it would. And here's the thing, is that it's not a sales or marketing strategy. So in other words, I'm not saying I'm so good, I'm going to add value into your life. No, you simply help people. You serve people, generate value that generates an impact so that everyone can profit. It really is that simple. So I challenge you over the next 7 to 10 days, instead of trying to get business and try to get a sale, instead of trying to, do whatever it is you normally do, think first, how can I add value that generates impact for others so that then we can all profit? And again, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, intellectually, and financially, right? So those things are incredibly valuable. So is it okay if I share with you a couple of simple marketing strategies that might help you make a difference in your business and in your life? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. So the first one is, and Mark talked about it a little bit, and we talked about it a little bit this morning on the live cast. And I think it is probably the number one strategy for getting real results in your business. Are you ready for this? This is, by the way, this is a writer downer. This is a shocking strategy. If you are weak of heart, avert your gaze so as not to harm yourself. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Take action. Action will outperform ideas and intentions every time.
Wow.
Lied to. And we talked about it this morning. We've been lied to. We've been told that knowledge is power. And in as much as knowledge is power, the truth is that applied knowledge, action, applied knowledge is power. So how do you take action? I'm going to submit today that success is 100% luck. I'll let that sit for just a second. Now you're going, okay, Driftwood, I'm not getting it. Like success is, well, once again, as with almost everything in my world, luck stands for something. And the reason I use VIP and luck and some of these are because they stick. They stick in your head a little bit better. So instead of just somebody, again, talking at you, I'm hopefully talking with you about strategies you can use to apply to your business. So I'm a strategic driven teacher, trainer, and I want to make sure you walk away with something you can apply. So if you can learn, first, foremost, and always, learn to add value that generates impact so that everybody profits, then you can begin to understand how luck could make a difference in your business. Luck stands for labor under correct knowledge. Yes, labor under correct knowledge. Notice the first letter in luck is L, is labor. See, without labor, all you have is uck. You can have all the correct knowledge in the world, but if you fail to labor, you will fail to achieve. You will fail to serve. You will fail. And honestly, that's what we're talking about. Add more value. Add more value. So labor under correct knowledge. And notice that labor is first for a reason. If you fail to labor, all you have is uck, right? No labor, no luck. So serve. Here's an interesting observation. Inaction and inaction. Same letters, same order, same sounds, inaction, but the result, not the same. Very, very different, right? So action will outperform good ideas and even the best of intentions every time. So success is a verb. It requires action, regardless of how you feel. Just do it anyway. So today, the challenge is just start. Start the action required today. Do something. Do something from what you learned from tonight's meeting, encounter, whatever we're calling this tonight, meet up, So start. Just do something towards the successful attainment of your desired dreams, goals, and outcomes. And as Mark said, if you can do your dream by yourself, your dream is too small. So, but take action. So take some kind of specific, measurable action towards the success. And we asked, and this was a great conversation this morning, and I don't know if you watched, but go back and watch the replay if you haven't yet. And that is that, here's the thing. You can take a very specific measured action and get a very specific measure. You're going to get a result, right? I can say success or results guaranteed. Here's the truth. You're going to get a result no matter what. Whether it's a good result, a better result, or a best result is entirely up to the level of action, right? What you do matters. What you do matters. And that's why it's so incredibly important. So let's see here. So successful people simply formed the habit of doing the things that unsuccessful people are unwilling to do, regardless of how we feel. We just do it anyway. So you have to get, like Mark said, you have to get in the mindset of be willing to take that action. Henry Ford said it very well. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. So the choice is to think you can and then do. Action will outperform good ideas and intentions every single time, right? Very, very simple. I don't know about you, but for me, I'd rather shoot for the moon and miss than aim for the dirt and hit it every time. And that's the challenge, isn't it? Oftentimes, We much too often, we aim for the dirt. We aim for the cookies on the shelf that we can grab because they're right there in front of us, instead of reaching up just a little bit higher and maybe stretch ourselves. Not break yourself, but stretch yourself in a way that might make a difference. So the challenge, of course, is to take action. Success doesn't walk between you and your TV. You got to get off your big, fat couch. Right? So I hope that makes sense. We say do or do. It's not what you can do, but what you actually do that counts.
Wow.
So do or do. And I have a do. I don't have a to-do list. I have a to-who list. In other words, what that means is to whom do I want to serve? To whom do I want to connect? To whom do I want to create value for today? If you want more business in any area of your life, simply go find someone else to serve, to add value that generates impact, that produces profit. Help them. And with no sales whatsoever, they will likely, more than likely, want to be helped back by you. So it really is that kind of simple. So the last one, very, very simple. Let's see. Let me do that. Yep. The last one. Let me share the right screen. Let your actions speak so loudly that no one can hear what you say. Let your actions speak so loudly that no one can hear what you say. See, the results require that you demonstrate through action. Action will outperform good ideas and intentions every single time. And if you want to make really good action, here's a way that I found that generates really good results in your action taking. You want to share? How about a really good strategy, super simple 3-step strategy where you can learn to take action that will produce specific, measurable, tangible results. You want to hear about it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this one's for Francine then. By the way, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let's see here. And that is this. So remember, of course, take action. So this is a thing we say TV. TV is little more than transformational vocabulary. As Mark was talking about earlier as well, the language we choose and use for ourselves and others determines the quality of results we'll achieve in our life. Use better language, get better results. Let me give you an example. TV, for instance, we no longer teach nor share with people how to use the language of customer, client, prospect, suspect, victim. It sounds like a police lineup. If we were doing business together, you and I, and there's a difference between, would you rather be a customer, a client, a suspect, a prospect, or, are you ready for this? How about a family, a friend, a member, a rock star, or a legend, or a champion, or a hero? If you're, let's say people are paying you thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to work with you at whatever you do, do you think they would much rather be referred to a customer, client, a prospect, a suspect, a victim, a volunteer, whatever it is? Or do you think they would much rather be referred to as a member of the family, or a community member, or a tribe member, or a rock star, or a legend, or a champion, or a hero, or an awesome human being? Now, you may not want to use those specific words, but find a language. Listen, if you're really working with people you absolutely love and adore, are they really your clients and customers? Or are they people you adore that just happen to pay you a ton of money as well? Now, you're creating value for them that generates impact, and everybody's profiting, right? That said, think about the way that you serve them with the words you choose and use. So maybe think about, I don't know what words work for you or don't work for you, but I would have you challenge yourself and consider moving from customer, client, prospect, suspect to something else that is more relational, more family, more friendly, more whatever, right? Very simple. I call this pinky swear best friend marketing. Pinky swear best friend marketing. Listen carefully. If you were doing with people you love, absolutely adore, and that potentially like you back, right? Or trust you at the very, very least, do you have to, I mean, if pinky swear best friend, do I have to, if I was talking to my very best friend, do I have to market or manipulate or unduly influence or cajole or anything other than simply say, have a conversation and serve them with a very specific measurable result, right? If I don't have to do any of this. I simply serve them because I'm looking out, because I care. Care is magic, right? Because I care, I'm simply serving them the best I know how. I'm simply serving them with the things I find out that they want, need, desire, and deserve. And by the way, one great way to serve people is to say, I may not be the best match for you, but this group or this organization, this person or this coach or this mentor or this service provider or this product or service solution might be a better fit for what you're looking for. Maybe it's a lower priced product or service or solution, but you still want to help them make more deposits that create value, impact, and profit. But you say, you know what? Why don't you start here? I have a friend who has a online course or training that will help you get the results you want, and then use that to multiply your efforts, and then come on back and let me help you at the level which you deserve now. Right? So you can help them by serving them. Simply serve. Simply serve. Or what I like to say, bend over backwards. Simply serve. Serve your way to success. It's very simple. And if they were your best friend, serve them accordingly. Serve them accordingly. It really is that simple. Does that make sense? So let me ask you a question. What would be the way that you could maybe even slightly tweak what you're doing now? And this is not a raise your hand, put yourself on the spot kind of, this is kind of a introspective opportunity. How could you, with what you're doing now, find a way to first add value, that value that generates impact, so that then you can profit? And again, that profit might be something like, we're better friends now. We have a greater trust relationship. We can take our relationship to the next level. We can, whatever it happens to be. It might be a referral, might be a recommendation, it might be whatever it happens to be, but add more value and then serve them at the level they deserve to be served because you adore them, because you love them. You want the best for them because they're now your best friend or your champion or your rock star or your hero. I don't know about you, but the people who work with me are all, they're awesome, amazing, incredible champion rock star heroes. And I refuse to see them any other way. I recognize and celebrate them for who they really are, as opposed to trying to guess or trying to make up or trying to give a label that is unfamiliar and so on. So the language you choose and use makes a difference in your business. So I would have you consider, look at your language, whatever it happens to be, whether it's the quality of our life and the quality of our success is in large part determined by the quality of questions we ask ourselves and others. So you ask better questions, get better answers, get better results. So you have to be curious, more curious, because you value them. Sawabona, I see you, all of you. I celebrate you. I value you. I see who you are, and I want to help you, even if I'm not the right match, even if I'm not the right person. And here's the good news. Here's the good news, I think anyway, and that is that you no longer have to sell anybody on anything. You simply help them, and all of a sudden, you get more of what you want, need, desire, and deserve because you've helped them get more of what they want, need, desire, and deserve. Make sense?
Yes.
That's right. It's a new weight loss program I'm working on. Hope you like it. Thank you very much. So, that's called a pattern interrupt. So, so anyhow, I'm happy to go on. I'm also happy to field any questions, thoughts, ideas, anything marketing, very specific strategies. And then I want to share with you before we get out of here. And you tell me, Francine, if we're getting up to our time. We need about 8 minutes to share one strategy that will radically, I promise you, radically change the way you get results in not only generating new relationships, but fostering, serving, supporting, encouraging. And by the way, everybody can do it because you have access to this portable pocket production device that allows you to connect like never before. So where would you like to go now?
Do you all want to hear what the strategy, or do y'all?
I'm easy.
One for the
Tell a friend.
strategy.
Okay.
2, 3 strategy.
Okay, I'll share it. So the next, I do have another strategy, and then I'm going to give you my closing one as well. And this one is what I call the Ask Your Way to Success strategy. ASK, Ask Your Way to Success. Once again, we've already determined the best way to or to assure your success is to ask yourself and others good, better, and best questions. Like if you're sitting on the side of the road and you've got, for whatever reason, a flat tire, let's just say, and you ask yourself, why does this always happen to me? I'm in a rush for a meeting, I need to be there, and I'm going to be late, and or if you say, what can I do to make sure this never happens again? So see, you're going to get an answer, a very specific answer. Your brain has no choice but to answer the question that was asked of it. It goes into this huge filing cabinet room of all these filing cabinets. Okay, why? So you go to the whys, why does, and then all of a sudden you pull out the answer to the question, why does this always happen to me? You're going to get that answer. Let me give you an example. Whatever you do, stop it. Don't think of the color red. Stop it. Knock it off. Stop thinking of the color. Do not think of the color red. Here's the challenge. Your brain has to think of the color red even before you dismiss it. So you can even dismiss it. Like this is why the milk gets spilt all the time. You tell your children, don't spill the milk. Well, their brain has no choice. It's part of the way the brain works. Chances are, not every time, but chances are they're going to spill the milk because their brain has no choice but to do what you tell it to do. Answer the question that was asked, which is, why am I not supposed to spill the milk? So the strategy is this, really, really, really simple. Hang on just a second. I lost my spot. That's okay. So make sure that as you're doing that, ask, ASK stands for something. And there's a good, better, and best strategy for asking for very specific, measurable results in your life and in your world. One, A stands for, and I'll show you what happened here. My PowerPoint went sideways. So while I find that, ask stands for ask always. So A stands for ask always, right? Always be asking. Always be asking. S stands for ask specifically. Ask specific. Once again, the brain is a very fickle beast. The more, listen, if I ask you one very specific question, you have no choice but to answer the specific question asked. Like if I say, how can I help you? Your brain is saying, how can I help you? And you're going through a whole bunch of data information. You're trying to figure out, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? And you may not say, I don't know. There's so many, but how can I help you with the result you provide? So how can I help you achieve the specific measurable result you want? So how can I help you get more business for your business? How can I help you generate more make more money, get more business, serve more people? Be very specific. The brain works in sensory specific ways. So always ask specifically, and keep asking kindly. Keep asking kindly. Or KISS. Keep it super simple. So make the specific request or the ask very specific and keep it simple. Don't say, would you be willing to paint my house for free this Saturday? You could, but the chance of the request being, complied with, probably less likely. So saying, hey, would you be willing to come over and give me your opinion about what color I might want to paint my house next Saturday? Right? So you can lead up to it, but as an example. So ask, keep it super simple. Just keep it super simple and ask. And I will say, keep asking kindly. So ask in a way that makes more deposits than withdrawals, and that adds value, that generates impact, that produces profit. So keep asking kindly. Very, very specific. Become an askaholic. Become an askaholic. So let me ask you a question. See, if we know that the more you ask, the more you get, like the Bible says, ye have not because ye ask not. Right? Because you ask not. So ask more and you will get more results. Listen, if you ask 10 people over the next 2 days, you ask 10 people a very specific ask, would you be interested in potentially doing business with me or listening to what I have to offer or whatever request it happens to be? Very simple. Would you be willing to? If you ask 10 people, and let's say like a very small percentage, let's say 10% of anybody will say yes to anything, right? So let's say one of those people in the next 2 days, would your business be a little bit better if you had one new piece of business that you didn't have simply because you didn't ask enough? You're not an askaholic yet, right? So your business would likely grow if you simply ask more. So you want to ask more? Ask more. What if you asked, oh, I don't know. What do you say you asked, do you know or who do you know that might be interested in what I have to offer? Do you know? So it's an informal ask, and it might be say, oh, I might be interested in hearing more about what you do. But do you know or who do you know? Now, let me ask you a question. 10 times, if you ask, let's say 10 times in a month, let's change that. Let's set an extra 0, 100 times. By the way, we're not talking about cold calls. I'm just talking about asking people 100 times, do you know? Or who do you know? Do you know someone? Or do you know, or who do you know that might know someone who I could do business with? That's just a friendly ask from a relationship, perhaps, right? What if you asked 100 times this month? And again, using the same low 10%, would 10 new pieces of business using your model, using your processes, using your profit margins, using everything you already use, create value that generates impact, that produces profit, and you ask 100 times, looking out for people's best interests, making more deposits than withdrawals? If you ask 100 times, would at least 10 people say, yeah, I'd be at least willing to listen to what you have to offer? What would 10 new pieces of business look like in your business in 30 days? Would it be better or worse? Anybody? Better or worse? Of course. Of course. And are you doing, first do no harm? Are you harming anybody by saying, would you refer me to 10 of your closest friends so that I can embarrass you in front of all your friends? Because that's what's going through their mind, isn't it? Right? So, but do you know someone who is looking to, for me, let's say, looking for some marketing intervention, they have a great passion and a great process, a great product, but have no profit pathway. Do you know, or do you know someone who is looking to up level their marketing to get more very specific measurable business? Now, my guess is, if you're asking this of somebody you know, and ultimately somebody even on Facebook, you might know them even cursorily or casually, right? You can post that. Hey, friends, I'm looking to grow my business to serve more people. You know that I do this, very simple, no text, no images, just, I do this. I help people with this result. Do you know someone who is potentially looking to grow their business bottom line without breaking the bank? Whatever, super simple, 37 words or so, let's say, right? And you get, oh, I know somebody, or I know, would you be willing to make that? Would you just introduce us, or would you just, connect us on Facebook, or would you tag them on Facebook, or whatever happens to, wherever you happen to be? And a huge, well, let's say almost all of my business comes from this one strategy alone, which is simply asking more people how I can serve, support, and encourage them, how I can make more value, that generate more impact so we all can profit, right? Very simple. Very, 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 very simple. And here's the good news. I'm not going to leave you hanging. I've got a free gift download that won't cost you a thing. Matter of fact, what I'll do, I think, is I will send it Francine, and she can disseminate it so that I'm not even asking for your opt-in email information. So very simple, free gift. No, it's called Little Steps to Do More of the Power 25. Simply ask your way to success. Free gift download. It's online. Just grab it, and it will show you a step-by-step process for being able to ask more effectively and make a massive difference by making more deposits. Because when instead of telling them they need your product, service, or solution, you're saying, would this be a good fit? Does this make sense? Again, the quality of your success is determined by the quality of questions you ask yourself and others. So ask better questions. Instead of saying, oh, this would be great for you. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think this might be a good fit? Does this make sense? Is this a thing that you'd like as a result over the next 30, 60, 90 days, or however you do your business, right? So simply ask more questions. Ask your way to success. And here's the thing, is none of us do this alone. None of us do this alone. We all need help. We all need help. Right? No one does it alone. Not you, not me, not no one. So get some help and ask if you can help them. You have the cure for what ails people in their life, in your business. If in fact what I said was true, if you have the cure for cancer in their life, their health, their wealth, their happiness, their fortune, their whatever it is, however you serve, you have the cure for what ails them. You have not just a responsibility, but you have an obligation to share your special brand of chocolatey goodness, your cure for what ails them. You have an obligation to share with them. Like, how hideous of a human being would I have to be to withhold the cure for cancer in your life and in your business or in your marketing? I'd have to be a pretty selfish, mean-spirited, awful, incredible, monster-like person not to. And all because what? I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to cold call. I don't want to. A little bit of discomfort, perhaps, if you approach them by simply asking them how you can help them and create value that generates. You don't have to sell them, but just ask more people. So simply amp up your asking. Makes sense. And this final strategy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. We're listening.
Oh, simply ask. Ask your way to success. Ask more, you get more. So I challenge you to come up with a number that makes sense to you. For me, it's the power 25. 5 asks a day, 5 days a week, which means that's 25 asks. And that's not 25 sales encounters or I'm just asking, hey, do you know, or who do you know that I might be able to serve with my special brand of Genius Jam? My way of creating value, for my way of helping people. I'm just simply asking more. That's all there is to it. The more you ask, the more you get. And this last one, I think you're going to find incredibly powerful. And this will radically change the way that you do business as starting today. And that's it. And this is the last one. This is a good one because everybody has one of these. Does somebody here not have something like this? A phone in their pocket, right? And this is Vmail. Vmail, better stated, maybe better known as or video mail, using video. Now, please hear me correctly. Clicking from place to place will not replace face-to-face. Clicking from place to place will not replace face-to-face. That said, foregoing all other strategies, would you rather receive a black text on a white screen or a email or a video mail that goes something like this? Hi, Francine. Thank you so much for thinking about me for your spectacular event. You know, I would love, absolutely adore the opportunity to talk with you and see how I might be of value, service, support, and encouragement to you and your family of followers. Below is a link, blah, 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 right? So let's say I do something like that. I call her out by name, super simple video email. I just turn on my phone or I turn on my webcam and I just record, let's say, a 22-second video. So let me ask you, how long does it take to record a 22-second video? Anybody know? Anybody?
22 seconds.
22 seconds or so. Yeah, give or take. That's a trick question. I know. So here's the thing. Now, because of the way the human kindness works, is that we're now more likely, because they get to see my affect, they get to see my face, they get to see my heart, they get to see my tempo, tonality, pace, timbre. They get to see all of that stuff. They get to see that I'm not, you know, I mean, how many people have gotten those DMs or those emails that saying, hi, I hope I'm not disturbing you in your email box. I'd love to tell you about my they don't know you from Adam. But if you started by sending, you know, a little super simple little video that says, hey, Mark, what an honor to connect and meet with you very briefly online this morning. I just love the chance to maybe catch up for a digital coffee or connection point. If that makes sense to you, let me know. I'd be happy to send you my calendar link. Have a great day. Bye now. Stay too blessed by the best to be stressed by the rest. Right? Whatever. I mean, you do you. I mean, again, Dean Hankey, professional weirdo. Right? It's my jam. That said, do what you do. But when was the last time, I don't know, you bought a house or you bought a car or you bought anything that somebody sent you a super simple V-mail thank you? Standing out in front of your house. If you're in the real estate business, if you do this starting today, this will radically transform the way you get recommendations and referrals. You just passed over the keys. You're out in front of their house that they're going to make a home, that you're standing out with their house in the background, you holding up your camera saying, Barb and John, thank you so much for trusting me with your house purchase. I know for a fact that you're going to turn that house into a home. And I'm so excited that you gave me the opportunity to help you make a difference in your life. Thanks so much, blah, blah, blah. Super simple, super short, send it off. And before you literally get in the car and drive away, that's in their email box or text message box. Is that going to make a difference in the way that they perceive you from now on?
All day, every day.
Holy cramoly. So imagine doing that. Somebody sends you an email, and let's say, again, real estate, you're in the real estate market, and somebody says, I'm thinking about listing my house. Hey, Pamela, I would love the opportunity to have a super quick conversation, how we might be able to get you the best, you know, for you and your family. And maybe even if it makes sense, direct you to the person or myself who might be able to help you find the home of your dreams once you've made that sale. You know, I can get your house over 10% over market, whatever it happens to be, you know, whatever. And, you know, be honest, but short, simple, to the point. And then maybe there's a link below is a super simple free gift download that will allow you to make the most from every listing. Whether you choose me or not, I would love for you to have this gift with my compliments. Ta-da! 30-second video could turn into a $3,000 or a $30,000 or a $300,000 home listing commission. How about a home? When a car, you spend hundreds of, maybe millions of dollars on your home, hundreds of thousands or maybe tens of thousands on your automobile. When was the last time you got a V-mail thank you from the people who sold you your car? My hallucination is, unless they were trained by me, Never. Use this. Serve people with this super simple Vmail. It's a tactical, practical, super simple, and your heart comes through. Everybody wins when you get a chance to use Vmail. So use Vmail. Very simple. Any questions, thoughts, ideas, epiphanies, inspirations, cares, questions, concerns, considerations, quandaries, emotional outbursts?
I'm just learning to use email.
Yep.
Those are very helpful. Thank you, Dean.
Yeah, Dean, we got people talking about lots of good information.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm like, wow.
I'm just happy to be here. So, hello.
Thank
Dean, I
you,
wanted to
Dean.
say- Can I say one
Thank
thing? Thank you so much for your information. I am always, I'm in the beauty industry, and so I'm always telling like either a hairstylist or nail techs, I'm like, when you guys get new clients, you
Yes.
gotta send them thank you cards.
Yes.
I send out thank you cards all the time. But I love, and it's usually, just a regular thank you card, but I've done thank you cards with my family and myself, picture of, but I love
Right.
the video mail. Love that. It's just definitely a beautiful.
Let me give you a strategy of a business that does customize. So in other words, instead of you sending them people mailbox money, I'm a big advocate for mailbox stuff. Sending them because they get spam in their regular physical email or physical mailbox. It's either a bill or garbage mail or whatever. Imagine you send them just even your thank you card, but it might say on the cover, have a picture of you, or maybe even a picture of them and their business or whatever. And the name that says, thank you, Suzanne, or thank you, Hankey family, or thank you, whatever. And they do have an order minimum. I will tell you, you have to order at least one at a time. And the name is Mailbox Power. I don't make anything. I'm not an affiliate, but just Google or look up Mailbox Power. And by the way, it comes with your return email or your return address. You can send them gifts, cards, products. You can send them a coffee mug with their picture on it and your logo and whatever. Just Mailbox Power. Write that one down. That's just a bonus gift.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is value.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And impact.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's going to lead to some profit.
That's right.
This was good. Dean, thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah. Thank you.
And where can we find you, Dean?
Yeah, you can just find me, contact Dean, all my socials, all my links, and free gifts. By the way, I do have free gifts down there that you can, no opt-in, no funky set fails, no funky funnels or slimy sales pages, just free gifts and tools. By the way, 99%, I give away all my information because I ascribe to this VIP strategy. I first add value, and then some people will want to advance their relationship with me because I help them out. That's it. So get some free gifts and tools, contactdean.com, contact Dean. And it's a super simple one of those LinkedIn style. Just there's 6 different links on there. You can get some free gifts or connect me through my socials or however I can serve you. Just let me know.
All right. All right. So thank you, everybody, and everybody who's watching live and on the replay. This is it'll live up on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is BizChicks.live. And so it is there. But we want to say thank you for tuning in to this this first Monday event. This is really good. And we're looking forward to many more. Make sure you follow Dean, follow Mark on all their social channels. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys again. And thank you, Dean.
Pleasure is all mine. You might want to change the camera to you so they can see you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that part won't be. Yeah, it's very dark. So, but we're gonna sign off now, and we want to say thank you. Talk to you soon. All righty. Bye-bye.